Well, hello and welcome to the Shallow Proclamation. My name is Paul, and as I
I've missed that, Paul.
do I just keep going? Just keep going. Don't even start again.
This is all going to be included, and you know it.
Absolutely, it's no point starting again because you'll stitch me up. As always, I'm joined by Thomas.
Thomas.
Oh no, your name's Thomas. Sorry.
Are you all right?
I'm clearly not all right. I don't know what's going on. Like, I've forgotten all of the Shallow Proclamation etiquette for opening the. It's good though, people. If you're a long-term viewer of this channel, this will take you back to the early days of the channel, where barely a video went by where we managed. All our intros were like this.
Yeah.
Thomas, I mean, bear with us, everyone. What are you eating? You got something there? I can hear you wrapping something.
Sorry, I was just going to say.
Is it in foil?
Got a exceedingly good cake, Mr. Kipling.
Nice little Bakewell.
Cherry Bakewell.
Lovely.
Would you like one? I wish I could give you one across the screen.
It's fine.
Nice.
I'm not actually a big Bakewell fan. I mean, I'll eat them,
Yeah. Well,
but I would never go out of my way to get a Bakewell, if I'm honest.
interesting. Is it that almond flavour that just puts you off?
Again, I don't really have an issue with it. I'm just not that bothered by it.
Yeah.
So I'm neither hot nor cold when it comes to whatever that's called. Bakewell, that's it.
Bakewell tart. Yeah.
What am I on today? Like,
Well, no, I'm glad you asked. Yeah, no, sorry about the rustling. Sorry about the Russell T Davies.
Yay. Anyway, if you're joining us for the first time and you're still here, well done. We are watching Doctor Who, and we're watching... Getting it all out of our system now so we can enjoy the episode as we should. We're watching all of Doctor Who, and of course we're in the middle of a new season now of Gatwa, season 15 or 2 or 30, 41, I don't know what it is, in real terms. So neither of us have seen this yet. Thomas, do you know anything about it?
Nothing, and I've quite enjoyed going into all of these episodes actually just completely cold. Means that the reaction is authentic for one thing. And yeah, I'm watching it with you for the first time as well. It's kind of fun, isn't it? It's like, neither of us have any expectations going in. We're just gonna, although you might, I don't know. Have you heard much about it or been in contact with anyone?
Well, that's the name of the episode, by the way.
Begins well and ends well. All's well that ends well.
See what I did there?
Well, sorry, yeah.
All's well. I have heard some rumours before the episode went out, and then since the episode, clearly something has happened in the episode that maybe confirms some of those rumours. But basically, there was a rumour that one of 3 things could be returning.
Ooh, okay.
And I can only actually remember what I can only remember what one of those 3 things actually was. So I'm interested to see what it's actually going to be, because I get the sense that this might be a bit of a sequel to a modern era episode.
Okay, intriguing. Yeah,
but I don't really know which.
Wow. So
it doesn't really give anything away particularly, or hasn't really told me much.
Far in the future, on a tough, brutal planet,
well,
a devastated mining colony. Yeah, mining colony. It's going to be Silurians, isn't it? No, I'm joking. No, because they're Earth.
Oh, anyway, that's true. Yeah. Great. Okay. Well, should we just get into it and see where it goes?
There seems to be a bit of a delay today, Paul. I mean, it's workable, but every time I make a joke, there's like a 5-second pause and then you laugh, which might just be that my jokes aren't very funny and you're just sort of, I thought so.
I'm just processing. How big's the delay?
It's kind of, Wait, if we're going to clap at the same time, okay, this will tell us. Okay,
this will tell us.
3, 2, 1, clap. Oh, okay, that's not too bad. It might have got shorter, actually. Maybe it was just that you were pausing before laughing at my jokes. Well, I'll just get that volume level right. I'm intrigued by this. And, yeah, I've enjoyed the last episode.
Yeah, we've been quite positive about the series so far. Definitely a step up from season 1.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And last week's was not just a step up, but I think we both felt was quite enjoyable.
Yeah, almost a return to modern era form. Almost. Yeah.
Heading in the right direction.
Heading in the right direction. Good trajectory. Well, for anyone watching with our full commentary track, we will begin the episode in 3, 2, 1, go.
At last. Come on!
Okay, Britney Spears.
Is this the second time this song is featured in Doctor Who? Is it not in End of the World?
Oh, I think it
Christopher
might be.
Eccleston.
It's a good song, to be fair. I've heard breakdowns of it on YouTube where it's like the scales it uses are really unusual.
We're just bumping in, really.
Like the music.
Oh, this looks good. This is a bit Impossible Planet-esque, isn't it?
The look of the spacesuits reminds me a bit of Alien, sort of the Alien series.
Yes, that's a good reference.
At the base.
Squadron leader Chinchapa.
Well, I'm higher than Chinchapa, see?
How did he get that out of
Stallion, I was not
his suit?
That's the point. Like mystery shoppers.
It can pass through suits.
Every single room, there's no mirrors.
They destroy the mirrors because they don't want to see its reflection. Maybe.
Does it live in the mirror?
Inside that room.
Ooh.
I forget this actress's name. It's Rose something. Yeah, she's the. She won Strictly Come Dancing a few years ago. She's the deaf lady.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I recognise
Rose Ailing Ellis or something like that. Ellis Ailing.
I watched it that year, I think. Yeah, it was incredible when she won.
See, there's a few things going on here that you've already said. There's an aesthetic here that is very much like the Impossible Planet.
Yeah.
This is very Impossible Planet.
Yeah, sort of reminiscent of it, isn't it, in some ways? Yeah.
The mirrors thing makes me think, and we probably wouldn't be talking about this if we didn't think there might be a returning thing. The mirror thing makes me think of Family of Blood when he traps the little girl in the mirror.
Ah, yes.
But neither of those are the things that I heard might be returning. So,
Oh, little wisp of something there. Yeah, this is a good bit of sci-fi horror, isn't it?
This planet is flooded with galvanic radiation. Where does it come from?
It was an exotic star, but that's ancient history, 400,000 years ago. The sun burnt out the wars.
Is that the midnight thing?
that was the rumor.
Yeah, because an
An
extonic star. I remember that. I've seen that episode so many times.
And that might tie in with why she isn't why she's left alive, because she can't hear it speak. Maybe something to do with that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I don't think I would have got that. That was the thing I'd heard rumoured. I don't think I would have got that in advance
Yeah.
if I hadn't been thinking about it, though.
767. The old name. 400,000 years ago, what was the planet called?
It was called
There we go.
Midnight.
Yeah, it'll be midnight, won't it?
I've been here before.
And if you go behind it, you die.
If it was a clock face, you die at midnight.
Whoa.
That's what happened. That's what I saw.
This is the base under siege
Yes.
feel.
The skeptical commandant
Skeptical commandant.
who's gonna die.
Yeah. Oh, careful, mate. You're at 11:55 there.
We will examine it. What are you?
Oh, I kind of don't want to find out what it is.
What was that?
That's a huge part of what makes it scary, isn't it?
He knows my name.
Nice little musical motif there from Midnight, just weaved in.
Yeah. This is good, just showing us the Doctor's reaction. Oh, there was some kind of face there.
Troopers 7 and 9, you go first.
That was really weird.
A shot fired 3 millimeters above the superior vena cava of the heart could mean death, or it could mean the narrowest of survival.
No.
I ran as a child. I ran from the wildlands. I ran from those monsters and never looked back.
It's very Alien 3.
Yes, indeed.
A vindicator in action. That's very good news. Thank you.
What is it?
My name is Ruby Simply.
You haven't had a boyfriend for ages.
The pheromones marks his future prey.
No, they're after you. There's something out there. We're a team, like you and the Doctor.
What the hell is going on?
Ruby's back.
Huh.
Okay. Midnight sequel.
Yeah.
Midday.
Yeah.
I think the problem is, because Midnight is potentially my favourite episode of Doctor Who ever, it's a tough act to follow. And I enjoyed this, but because it was a Midnight sequel, you just can't help but be like, well, it's not Midnight, is it?
No, I think that's fair. So I had heard the rumour that it might be a sequel to Midnight, or the creature from Midnight might be returning. Out of the 3, like I said, there were 3 things. That was the one I could remember.
Right.
And then as soon as they landed on the planet, and it was like, and there's all this radiation and nothing can live on it, I was like, this feels a bit like that. And then, of course, obviously later on they mention Extonic and stuff. And with her being deaf, I thought, oh, that would kind of work quite nicely as a way round sort of hearing the voice of the creature and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, for me, like you, I think Midnight is one of the best things to come out of the modern era.
Yeah.
I think it's such a powerful episode, and what makes it so good is that you don't know what the creature is, and you don't get any answers, and it's just left. And so I was a bit concerned coming into this, thinking if it is a sequel to Midnight, I hope it doesn't like wreck it by sort of, you know, answering too many things or taking away the mystery of it. So I really like. I think I like that it doesn't do that. I like that it doesn't give you any extra answers. Really,
it really looked like it was going to at one point, didn't it? But and you see glimpses of something. But yeah, in general, it didn't. We don't actually know any more about it ultimately, do we?
Yeah, and I think that's for the best. Like you, I think, like if there was no Midnight, for example, there had been no prior Midnight to this, I think this would be even stronger. Potentially, I'd say this is the strongest episode of the season so far. I mean, I know that's not a lot to say out of 3 episodes.
Oh, okay, yeah. You put this above Lux, yeah.
I think so, and I think it's probably one of the stronger episodes of Gatwa's era so far.
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing I was thinking during this, like, given that we enjoyed the last episode quite a lot, the first episode was fine, but not brilliant. Last episode we thought was a real step up. I think this was a step up again, and I think it does a good thing by referencing Midnight. I mean, I don't think it has the effect of Midnight, but it's still pretty solid.
It is pretty solid. It doesn't ruin it. No. And it was a solid episode, yeah.
The thing going through my head was, given the consistency so far in this season, or what it's like, what on earth was Russell T Davies smoking when he wrote Series 1? Because that was such a pile of tosh compared to even just these, which are, by no means am I going to say, there's no way that this episode is on the level of like a Midnight or Family of Blood or any of those kind of things. But it's definitely pretty solid. I don't think, like you say, it doesn't have the effect of Midnight. I think, you know, it's a diminishing return. But it doesn't take away from Midnight, I don't think.
No.
I thought there were some nice little touches in there. Again, I don't think I would have picked up on it if I wasn't looking out for it. You know, when Belinda first thinks she sees something behind Alice, she goes, "I thought I saw," and then she goes something, which is exactly what one of the pilots said in Midnight. You know, "I thought I saw," and then he's like, "No," and I thought that's exactly the same line there. So I thought that was quite nice. I think, you know, Ncuti Gatwa is a far better Doctor when he has something serious to do.
Yeah.
When he's not spending the whole time. I know there was a little bit of Babes and a little bit of Hun, but when he's not spending the whole episode doing that nonsense, I think actually he's a much stronger Doctor there.
Totally. This gave him some of his best moments, didn't it? Just him realising it was the creature from Midnight. That scene was well done. And he was like, I've never been more terrified than when I first met that creature. You're like, yeah, it's true. In that episode, the Doctor is genuinely... He doesn't know what to do with it, does he? It's unlike anything he's ever encountered before.
And even when Donna sort of jokes at the end, he's like, don't.
Yeah, he's really rattled by it.
Really, shaken up by the whole thing. Yeah, and I think that's what makes it so striking as well. There is no resolution to it, and it clearly has rattled him. And I thought it was really good. You know, I thought it was nice that bit when they're saying, "Well, we just have to leave. We're going to just go. She can't leave. Come off the planet." And she says, "You know, don't turn your back on me." I thought that was really nice because, like, there's that sort of double thing going on, isn't there? Of like turning your back in the sense of getting behind him in that way, but also like she can't actually hear what he's saying. She's got no idea because she can't lip read and all that stuff. When he's facing the other way, she can't see what's coming out on this thing. So I think she does a great job. So I think is it Rose Ayling Ellis? Is that her
yes? That
name?
rings a bell. Yeah, she has a good performance, isn't it?
I think she's brilliant.
She was an actor. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen her in. I don't think I've seen her in anything else apart from on Strictly, which was, you know, amazing anyway to watch. But yeah, I think she does a brilliant job. I think Gatwa does a great job. The the only thing, and this is completely stupid through the whole thing, was the character, the guy who tries to usurp the command of the group, Cassio. All the time I'm just thinking, why is he named after a calculator? Like, that's all I could think.
Yes. If you put in certain numbers and then turn it upside down, you can make words appear. Yeah. That's what his screen is.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and the team there, because there are two things that I think makes Midnight one of the greatest Doctor Who episodes. One is the nature of the creature and the fact that it's genuinely unknown to the Doctor, and the really scary thing of just the simple idea of someone repeating what you say, and it's mischievous. And I liked that it picked up on that here. He's playing with them, but it also becomes really creepy because it's like a kind of possessed thing when in Midnight they start repeating what the other person has said. So the creature itself is genuinely. It's just such an unknown, and that makes it scary, that kind of cosmic horror thing. But the other interesting thing is how that group of people on the tour react to it, and the way they turn on each other. And I think this episode kind of picked up on that as well, didn't it? Because there's a moment where the Doctor says, "Look at what it's doing to us," and the way that crew kind of end up getting each other killed, kind of out of. They're kind of scared and they don't really know what to do, and there's kind of power dynamics. But that kind of dissident soldier figure, he just ends up kind of getting a lot of his fellow crewmates killed. So that's kind of interesting, isn't it? It's much more because you don't see any of the creature. It's all about how people react to it and the way they take it out on each other.
Yeah. So the great thing about Midnight is. Like there's the monster, but then it's the people. Like, you know, the people are the monsters, aren't they? How they turn on each other, and you know they're very quick to sort of start judging. And
Patrick Troughton's son.
Yeah. And then at the end, you've got like you know, is it the mother in that group in Midnight saying like I knew it was, you know, I knew it wasn't him or whatever, you know. I said it wasn't him. I said, and it's like no, you know, like trying to deny her culpability in like, you know, potentially murdering someone and all these things. And that's what makes it such good, because it's a character piece, and it's about those reactions. And I don't know if I think in this it doesn't do that as well, because I don't think you get the interaction, but because you don't get the interaction with the creature in the same way you do in Midnight, even through Alice, because you don't even get. I mean, I suppose in Midnight you don't get anything apart from what the character, the Doctor is saying or someone else in the room is saying, but you're getting some kind of interaction. You don't even quite get that in this, and I don't think. So yeah, there are similarities with look what it's doing to us, but I don't think it's as effective as Midnight.
I agree. Yeah.
And because you don't have a lot of those other soldiers in the group are largely faceless grunts, aren't they? Of the group, you don't have the kind of here's Dee Dee and here's the professor and here's I can't remember the lad's name. He's got quite a distinctive name, hasn't he? In Midnight, and the mum and the dad, and
because they all have they're very believable characters, and you get to know them. And the jokes like the peanuts, do they contain nuts, as they're being handed out by the stewardess at the start, and it really takes its time to build that crew. Whereas these soldiers, I agree, they jump onto the planet, and then it all kind of kicks off, so we don't really get to know them.
So I think that is a weaker element. So it's definitely a sort of weaker version of Midnight, but I like that it doesn't. But it's still probably more effective than a lot of episodes by having a creature that you don't see properly. Clearly, the Doctor is still rattled by it. I like when he's face to face with Alice, and you kind of get the shadow on her shoulder, but we don't see it. The creature, when he does see it in the corridor, is sort of still shadowed, so we don't really see it. That's definitely the right thing to do. The one thing that I thought was a bit odd was when is it Shay or Shea, the commander at the end, goes to sacrifice herself. Suddenly, it's like we're going to try and create a little backstory to her. I ran as a child. I was like, it was just a bit weird.
That early on,
exactly. Why is that right in the minute? Like up to then, she's basically been obviously one of the main characters in that group, but still not really a character we've invested in and developed any relationship with.
It's like, quick, we need to give her some context so that her self-sacrifice is more meaningful.
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't think that really worked. I think it was just unnecessary.
And also the camera was in front of her as she was running away from the Doctor, so surely we as an audience would have seen the creature.
I know, I did think that actually. She's running away and the Doctor's kind of running behind her, like, what's going on here? So I thought that was a little bit of an odd choice. But yeah, and the sacrifice, like I say, there was some very I said there's an aesthetic early on of the sort of the space helmets feels a bit alien, and the death, her killing herself at the end, feels very Alien 3.
And it does. It is how Midnight ends, isn't it? With the stewardess throwing herself out of the airlock with the woman
that's true,
to get rid of the creature. But but some new ideas in there. It wasn't, credit where credit's due. It wasn't just a kind of rehash, kind of attempting to kind of maybe Russell was sort of thinking, oh, this is an episode I did that went down really well. I'm gonna do a sequel and try and conjure that again. But he did. It wasn't a total rehash. There were some interesting new ideas in there, like the 12 o'clock thing. I quite like that. Midnight. That was quite clever.
Although I wondered, because I thought they might have done more with the fact that, because obviously the big thing in Midnight was you would speak and it would speak and mimic and then tie up and then cross over into the other direction in terms of who was speaking first. And obviously they changed it here to have this sort of,
it was more a visual version, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I think that that's fine. That was a nice idea. But I wonder whether they could have just done more with the idea of Alice being deaf, and that maybe the way of defeating the creature would have been something to do with the fact that she was the only one who couldn't hear it, and therefore she had some immunity to it in a way that others didn't. And that was hinted at, but it didn't really come to be anything to do with the way it was sort of vanquished. And obviously at the end there's a suggestion that it's not really vanquished anyway.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's a really good point, actually, because I think all they say is that the Doctor's like, oh, that's probably why she survived so long or something. But it would have been nice, if she was kind of the key in a way. And I'm surprised, because as soon as because I knew she was in the episode, and I was thinking there's potential this Midnight creature might return. I know she's a deaf actress.
that could play in.
Yeah.
And it was mentioned, but I don't. For me, I'm expecting that to be, like you say, the key to the story. And you could say, well, is that a neat bit of, they point you in one direction and then go, oh, we're not doing that at all. And maybe you could argue that, but I think probably maybe an opportunity missed there to use that in a better way. But
yeah, and it was implied. Yeah, it was implied at the end that it was up on the ship with those two soldiers, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yes, because of course that was up on the ship, wasn't it? In my head, I think maybe they were down still on the planet together, but no, they were on the ship. So
the lady threw herself down the well, and then
for nothing.
yeah, maybe it wasn't actually on her. She thought it was. She thought she'd taken it by shooting Belinda. I didn't quite get that. So she said if you shoot Belinda like slightly to the left of the heart or something.
Yeah. Because Alice had said, hadn't she, if you kill me, it'll just go to you.
Yeah. And
then I think the idea was that like she was going to shoot her in such a way that could potentially kill her. And it almost forced the creature to leave, but she could survive. There'd be a slight chance of survival.
Yeah, I thought that was slightly. I mean, I think they just about pulled it off, but also at the same time, like you'd think the Doctor would protest slightly more. Although maybe he could see that it was the only option. But like relying on this lady to be able to make a shot that accurate. And also, if the position of the bullet or the laser is so crucial, surely she could just hold the gun to Belinda's chest. Why do you have to do it from such a range? It's like she fancies the challenge. She's like, actually, I'm going to stand further away. I'm going to stand 100 meters away.
Just doing it like...
Just shoots her in the face.
Through the legs.
Like, sorry.
Well, she's dead. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm reluctant. I know I did it on the first episode. I'm reluctant to give things a mark out of 10 in some ways because you then kind of later on you go, oh, but is it as good as that? Is it as good as that?
Yeah. And it's hard with this one because of its connection to Midnight, which is such a good episode.
Yeah, Midnight is like for me is almost as close to 10 out of 10 as you can get. It's 9.9. If you can't give something, ever give it a 10 maybe, because nothing's completely perfect. But Midnight's pretty close to perfect in my opinion. So, but I think I'd say I've enjoyed that episode. It's created a lot of good tension through the story, even if perhaps that it wasn't always the payoff we might have liked to have seen. Not always as effective as it could have been, or again though, I don't know if it is ineffective or if it's just pales next to Midnight itself. So, and I think probably again that's a stronger story than Lux personally.
Yeah. So, what would you give it out of 10?
What would you give it out of 10?
I'd probably give it, maybe a 7 actually.
I'd probably give it
solid.
Maybe a 7 actually. Like solid.
Don't. Please.
No, I don't. Yeah, I could a solid 7 to 7.5. Yeah. I've enjoyed it, and I'm just happy that this season feels stronger, and I think Gatwa is better in it as well, probably because he's got better things to do.
Yeah, I almost wish that the previous season just hadn't happened at all. And if this is what it had opened on, I think I'd be feeling a lot more positive about the Gatwa era overall.
Yeah.
But because we had Space Babies and Rogue and just a lot of not great episodes. But yeah, this is promising. And just simple things like the tone felt like a kind of serious Doctor Who episode, didn't it? It had some levity in there. It had a bit of humour in there that didn't undermine it. I do find the Babes thing a bit annoying, but I guess it's kind of a quirk of his character. It's like, fair enough. But like it was serious when it needed to be serious, and it had a groundedness to it. And you're like, okay, I kind of actually care about what happens. I want these characters to get out, even though I don't know any of the soldiers especially well. And I think is it in the most serious Gatwa episode we've seen so far? Maybe the The Legend of Ruby Sunday, the first of that two-parter.
Ruby Sunday.
Ruby Sunday. Ruby.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly certainly got a darker tone, hasn't it? A more serious tone than anything in the previous season. I mean, maybe in the last season, I don't know. Yeah, maybe. 73 yards had a
was it
73 yards.
73? I keep forgetting that number.
The whole 9 yards. Yeah, it was 73 yards, I think.
Yeah, and actually the threat is sort of reminiscent in some ways. Although 73 yards, you discover it's Ruby, which is exactly why I didn't want to find out what this creature is, because it's like finding out how a magician does his trick. The moment you find out what this is, like, you could make it literally anything: Mrs. Flood, the Daleks, Davros. You could take any piece of Doctor Who lore and try and weave it together and, you know, come up with a clever thing for what this creature is. It would always be disappointing to find out what it is, and that's the point, isn't it?
Always be underwhelming. It's like, you know, I mean, I like the idea of the Doctor saying it knows my name, because then it's, by saying that, it's giving the creature a weight to it and a gravity to the situation that you can't get in from other things necessarily. But of course, what you can never have, even if they decide one day, we're going to finish Doctor Who and this is the very last episode ever, no more, they can never be like, and in the final episode, the Doctor's name is...
Yeah.
Because whatever it is, I mean, it doesn't really matter now, does it? That's the thing, but...
Yeah.
And his name is Colin. Like, you know, there's nothing you could say that would be satisfying.
And his name is Carvanista.
My name is Jeff. Nothing would work. So yeah, and I think that is the downfall of 73 yards, is that there's this really intriguing and incredibly creepy like setup, only for the resolution to not only be disappointing, but to pretty much undo all the good work of what has gone before. Yeah. Frozen 2 fell into exactly the same trap. Like, builds it up so well, you know, the voice, show yourself. And it's massive build up. Is it going to be her parents kind of communicating with her? What is it? Oh, it turns out the voice calling Elsa from beyond is herself, and it turns out she is the fifth elemental spirit. And she's the fifth element. Goodness sake! There's a movie in there. Yes. Yeah. But yeah, no, that's a slightly different context. But yeah, less is more, isn't it? Absolutely, and and particularly when it comes to stuff that's trying to be creepy and scary, don't show it. You know, don't show the shark. That's the rule. Don't show the shark until you really have to. And if you can get away with not showing it, even better. Yeah, and I think credit to Russell for doing that. I think, you know, some would say he went too far in even showing some aspect of the creature. You did get that glimpse. I mean, people will pause that scene and you will be able to see some kind of... there was some kind of white face in the background. But for me, it was brief enough and out of focus enough and, you know, unclear enough that it didn't annoy me too much. And what do we think of Mrs. Flood? Did we have a pre... No, I was going to say... Because here she's sort of appearing in a different time zone. And I was going to say, like, didn't we have that with her in the last season? But that was Susan Triad, wasn't it? Yeah. She appeared in lots of things. She appeared on a screen as sort of a commander or something, didn't she? She was the one who appeared in every episode. Yeah. Whereas Mrs. Flood, she's been in every episode of this season, hasn't she? And yeah. But she was in a different time zone last time, though, wasn't she? Because she was back in the 50s. Oh, of course. Yeah, just walking around. Just walking about and saying about things. And, of course, here she's in the future. So she's not constrained by space or time? No. Yeah. I am intrigued by Mrs. Flood. And, I mean, here's the thing, again, is that I don't want it to be something obvious. I don't want it to be something I can work out beforehand. Yeah. I don't want it to be disappointing. Yeah, to me, I mean, with this whole kind of pantheon of the gods thing they're doing,
The thing that makes most sense to me is that she is the kind of storytelling god, and is kind of in charge of the Doctor's fate. She is Russell T Davies.
She...
And that's why she's saying the show will end, because Russell T Davies is leaving at the
He's
end of
written
the last
himself.
episode.
He's written himself into the show as an old woman. No.
No, this is what I've always looked like. Sorry. But yeah. No, I don't know. It is intriguing. And again, is it going to be disappointing when we find out whoever she is?
Well, I wonder if we'll have to wait right to the end, or whether in each episode there'll just be a tiny little tease like that, or whether we'll get any more something more substantial in any episodes. Because occasionally in previous series of Doctor Who, there's been a sort of an overarching theme, and actually it started to be unpacked a bit earlier in the season. You think back to sort of season 5 with the crack in the wall. You get to sort of the episode with the Weeping Angels, which is only sort of like 4 or 5 episodes in, and the Doctor actually is aware that the crack's there, and it's not just something that appears in every episode and the Doctor isn't aware of it until the end of the season. Does start to get unravelled a bit. So I wonder whether we'll get that with Mrs. Flood. We did see at the end of the Giggle, the Master, the tooth, the gold tooth with the Master being picked up by a woman's hand.
Yes.
Now, I don't want Mrs. Flood to be the Master. But obviously, I mean, if it was her hand, she's not the Master. But that would be disappointing if it's just a sort of another mastery type, something to do with the Master, I think.
Yes, because when was Mrs. Flood's first appearance? It was the Christmas special, wasn't it? So the episode after the Giggle.
Yeah, unless that was her hand. But
yes, of course. Yeah. Interesting. So it's playing with a lot, and maybe it's kind of intriguing that the first season, because Russell had clearly written these 2 seasons sort of fairly close together and kind of taken as a piece in a way, because Ruby's appearing again. I don't know if that was always the plan, that she was only going to do 1 season and then kind of be a slightly secondary character in the next season. But it's kind of interesting that the first season really set up a lot, and that was another thing that was annoying about it, partly the tone, but also it set up so many quite intriguing things, but just didn't deal with any of them, like Susan. And it's like, oh no, I haven't named Susan Triad, and it's actually got nothing to do with the Doctor's granddaughter. And I just wonder if
Ruby's mum is no one. An absolute nobody. Oh, who for some reason stood in the street after she'd deposited her baby at the church and pointed at the sign so that someone watching on CCTV would know she is called Ruby.
My name is Ruby.
Right. Yeah. Okay, Russell. Right.
Ray's parents were nobodies. Oh wait, actually, it was Palpatine. No, he was her grandfather.
Somehow he returned.
Yeah. But now it's leaning into the Mrs. Flood thing. So I have a feeling if there are going to be payoffs to all these questions, he's going to sort of cram them into this season. I don't know. I just get that sense. It feels like it's hurtling towards some kind of big showdown. But... yeah,
no, I think that's the case. As far as I'm aware, I think Russell Davies might even have said that we will get the resolution to Mrs. Flood in this season.
Okay.
I think particularly because they haven't even commissioned season 3 yet, have they?
Right. Yeah.
So I think he's he's getting things round up. I know he said he had ideas for season 3 and season 4. He said,
wow.
But he's also said they're already looking for his replacement. So.
Yeah, and it's all a little bit up in the air at the moment with whether the show will continue, isn't it?
Yeah, and Gatwa will leave at the end and so on. So, yeah.
But while it's airing, and where we can be positive, I think it's just worth saying that whatever happens with Gatwa's tenure, that was a strong episode.
Yeah,
and this has been a strong season so far.
I think so. Yeah, very positive. Much better than where we were this time last year. So.
Oh man, space babies. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. Let us know what you think of it. Did it was it a kind of intriguing but lesser sequel to Midnight as we think, or does it completely undermine the original? Oh goodness, it is creepy. It is creepy. And you know that all the kids, I think we did this when we were kids after that episode went out. It was the thing you did with your parents afterwards.
Oh yeah, totally, I'm sure.
Yeah. We'll be back soon for, what's the next episode called? I don't
actually know what it's called. I'm that out of touch with it that I don't even know the episode titles.
The Return of Ruby Sunday.
Rudy Sunday.
Rudy Giuliani. Yeah. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. Good night.
Midnight.
Good night. We're in Pompeii. It's volcano.
It's volcano.